Okay, now we're gonna do the grid for the reciprocal graph. It starts out the same way most grids start out. At least starts out the same way the grid for the quadratic graph starts out. And most other graphs, except for the exponential graph, most of our graphs will include 5 vertical lines. The exponential graph we call first one everybody's most familiar with, only have 4. But we insert a line between here and here for the exponential graph. Okay. Now, we also have horizontal line that cuts the thing in half. I either make it too high or too low. I made that one a little too low, but that's okay. Try to do better than I do, but that's all right. Okay. Now the rule's going to be a little bit different than before for the, or a little bit different than it was for the quadratic graph and for the exponential graph. Okay. Rule is go halfway from the middle to the center line, the top edge. So that was here. Then go halfway from there to the center line. That puts us here. Actually, that's exactly the same thing we did with the vertical lines. We drew the center line halfway from the edge to the center, halfway from there to the center. Okay, and the same thing on the left. Well, here we're going to do it that way from top toward the middle, and then we're going to do the same thing from the bottom toward the middle. We're going to go halfway to the middle. And then there we're going to go halfway. And then we're done. Now, it's a perfect square and done perfectly. If you were to rotate the thing 90 degrees, it would look exactly the same as it does here. Now, mine is all that symmetric, so it wouldn't work that well, but you should get the idea. If you look at, well, okay, so there it is. Now, the rule is, and try to follow the instruction or you see me do it, okay? But the rule is on the left-hand side, start at the line just below center where it intersects the left edge. Then move one line right. Wrong. I'm glad this is the beginning of the video. Because I have to start over. Okay, I'm going to blame that one on COVID. Not so much COVID as a medication I'm taking. I didn't see what I wanted to see. Okay, I knew this had to be right many times. Okay, start at the left. Move over one, down one. Move over one, down one. Okay, again, start on the left boundary, just below the line, the construction line just below the center line. Start here. And we move over one, down one, over one, down one. Okay. At which point we can't move down anymore. So we stop there, at least for this grid. Okay, then we start on the right side. Okay, so just make this a little clearer and make this line kind of solid. It's a line of sympathy. Okay, so we start at the top edge, then the line just to the right of center. And go over one, down one, over one, down one, which takes us to the opposite edge. Now I'll do that, but I want you to See if you can do it yourself, either by reading instructions or by following what I just said. Okay, now you've had instructions to mark the points that go along with, what I said earlier. Start left boundary, first construction line below the middle, make a mark. Move one right, one down. Move one right, one down. Now, as it says in the instruction, we're moving right, we're moving down, we're moving down faster, faster. There's nowhere else to go within this rectangle with this series of points. So that's one series of points, and that's it. And of course, you're going to be able to connect that with a smooth curve. Okay, now we'll get another series of points up here. Again, starting the upper boundary, construction line, just right at the center. We make a mark, move over one, down one, over one, down one, and there we are. Moving to the right, seem to be moving faster, faster to the right. No place to go within our rectangle. Okay, so that's it. Now you want to draw a smooth curve. I'm going to do that in a minute. Pause, draw your own smooth curve. Make sure you lock in the rule making these points. Excuse me. Okay, so we go. There's a nice smooth curve. And there's a nice smooth curve. We don't try to go from here to here. Turns out that the reciprocal function, when we define it algebraically, which we'll do very soon, makes no sense when you're on the center line. Okay, there can't be a point on the center line, so that divides the left-hand side and the right-hand side into two separate curves. Now it could be that I should have done the red dot at the beginning. And part of the reason is I just focused on getting the rules for doing these lines correct. Okay. And we haven't needed the red dot until now, but in this case, notice how everything moves toward the center in our instructions. We always move here toward the center line, here toward the center line, and toward the horizontal center line, and from here toward the center, and from here toward the center line. Everything is moving toward the two center lines. The two center lines cross right here. Unlike over here, everything here was moving toward the lower edge. Although the vertical line is moving toward the vertical center line, the horizontal line is moving toward the lower edge. And that kind of tells you something about where the red dot ought to be. And we might or might not talk a little bit more about that, but that's just a quick explanation. A quick indication. It's not really an explanation. Okay. So there we have a reciprocal graph, and now with the red dot. Okay. So now we're going to assume again assume a 4x4 square. Origin of our coordinate system at the red dot. What are the coordinates? Corners. Not writing very well, but what are the coordinates of the corners? I would talk about the corners of the boundary square. Okay, now I think it's easy enough to reason out if you understand how the numbers work, but some people have a difficulty with surprising amount of difficulty in my classes in previous semesters. So the origin is here. So let's go ahead and sketch the x-axis and the y-axis. Let's kind of make this as clear as we can by picture a nice solid blue x-axis and a nice solid blue y-axis. Okay. Now, square is 4 by 4. So that means here to here on the x-axis is 4 units. Your 0 point is here. So how far do you have to go from here to here? How far do you have to go from here to here? What are the x coordinates, in other words, of the boundary lines? And actually, I said get the x coordinates of the corners. I'm going to back up just a second and let's say, make sure you label the boundary lines, x equals and y equals. So go ahead and get that and then I'll show you what that ought to be.